Well, greetings once again, my friends. I'd like to welcome you to another video, my fellow modelers. I've got another little offbeat model kit that I want to share with you. Now, recently I did the model kit. I showed you guys the BJ and the Bear model kit. That was from a TV show from my childhood, and it was the big rig, and you don't find that model kit that often. And I figured because of that, it gave me an idea to do another model kit that really is pretty hard to find, and it's from one of my childhood TV shows. This is from Hogan's Heroes, and it's an army Jeep. What Hogan's Heroes actually was a series, television series, and I think it ran from 1965 through 1971, I believe. And it starred Bob Crane. And this TV show has a really interesting background. This could almost be in a video unto itself. What it is you got the American POWs in a German prisoner of war camp during World War II. And it's a comedy, but some of the people that act in the television show, a really sad history of Bob Crane. It was really kind of sad what happened to him if you want to look his story up. The co-star, Werner Kempler, he played Colonel Klink, and he is German. He had said in an interview, him and his family had to flee Germany because he was part Jewish as well. And interesting that he would be in the show as the commandant. Of course, John Banner, when I was a kid, Sergeant Schultz. Who didn't love Sergeant Schultz? You know, I always thought, well, the Nazis aren't that bad if they're like Sergeant Schultz, John Banner was such a likable guy. And the older I got and the more I studied history, I realized that the Nazis were not like Sergeant Schultz. That's not how they acted. But anyway, with John Banner, he made the show really, really lovable. He's a lovable character. And another interesting character is Robert Clary. And he was actually a prisoner he was in a concentration camp during World War II. And for him to play in the series is really interesting. Like I said, the whole series has like a backstory that could be a video unto itself. If you guys are interested, I could do the history of the show if there's enough interest. There were other stars like Richard Dawson was also in it, Gary Hovis, Kenneth Washington, and this was one of my childhood shows that I really enjoyed watching a lot. And that brings us to the latest model that I want to share with you guys. So this model kit is from MPC, and MPC is Model Products by Craftmaster. And this was released in 1968. The model kit itself is Hogan's Heroes World War II Jeep. And you can see it's from the hit TV show, Hogan's Heroes, the most famous of all military vehicles. This is in 125 scale, and this is a customizing kit. You can build this as several different kits, and I'll get into that. But on the cover, you can see all the way to the right, you've got Colonel Hogan, and he was the senior officer in the prisoner of war camp. And over to the left, on the top, you've got Commandant Klink, Wilhelm Klink, I believe. And he was in charge of the camp, and below to the left is Sergeant Schultz. He was the lead guard. And when you look at this model kit was released at later times as the World War II Jeep, and it was actually released later on as a Hogan's Heroes Jeep, and I'll get into that as we go through the different sections of the model video. But you can see the front. It's got that classic Jeep from World War II, and you can see the decals that are going to go on it. Of course, we got the American stars that are going to be on the hood and on either side of the rear quarter. And you can see the words Private Property Stalag 13. And you can see Hogan's Heroes underneath the windshield. And on the side, you can see a found, return to Colonel Hogan. And which is kind of interesting because Colonel Hogan was in a prisoner of war camp during World War II, and the setting, he was in Germany. And I don't think that he would have been able to have his own Jeep. But I think it was because the MPC wanted to take advantage of the popularity of the show. So they got the model out and they had put that on it. I guess it's more patriotic than them doing like a Tiger tank or a German vehicle. But you can see by the cover, this is the original release in 1968. And when you look at different parts, you can go to the side of the box and you can see all of the parts that you can customize with. You can see build for battle or go to custom route. All these parts and more are included. You've got the 30 caliber machine gun that you can put on. You got the snow tires, the GI issue accessories on the bottom. You can see the shovel and looks like a gas or a fuel tank. You got the open wheels. You can see the carbine on top with the submachine gun on the bottom. The side view mirrors with chrome. Below that, you got the bucket seats. You got the custom horn, custom wheel covers, and you've got the Surrey top. And below that, you've got the 4-cylinder flathead engine. And when you look at the ends of the box, you can see this is kit number 402-200, Hogan's Heroes Jeep by MPC. And it's the same on both ends of the box. Looking at the other side of the box, you can see the upper left corner, it says customized by George Barris. Now, if you don't know who George Barris is, he's really famous for designing many cars used in television shows. If you ever want to get a chance, you should Google his name. You'd be amazed on how much he did, including one of my favorite cars from the movie The Car. I absolutely love that car. It was George Barris that designed it. Also the Munsters coach and the Dragula. I could do a whole video on George Barris vehicles. But looking at the side of the box, you could see 1968 Bing Crosby Productions Incorporated. World War II Jeep. Arm it, build it, stock or custom, or make it into Hogan's TV Jeep. On the left side, you can see the Army Jeep. And on the right, you can see the Surrey version, where you can customize it. And it does come with the decals to make it look like that. And when you look at the instruction sheet, you can see the front, Hogan's Heroes World War II Jeep, MPC Model Products. Please read instructions. Please note, paint chrome parts black as the military, if you're going to use the military version, so the flat black would be the chrome. You may build this kit more than one way. Before you begin building, look over the instructions carefully. Follow the procedures given. Test fit parts together without cementing after you decided what version to build. This way you can be more familiar with the location of the parts when it comes time to use cement. For removing small parts from the runners, it is best to use a modeler's knife. Do not attempt to twist them off. Highest quality styrene plastic goes into the making of each MPC model. Only paint and cement made for styrene should be used. Before joining parts, trim off excess plastic or flash scrape plating from chrome parts when they are to be joined with other parts. Be careful not to get cement on exposed areas. To join parts, use cement sparingly. Apply cement to very small parts with a toothpick. When painting your model, it is best used to cement all non-chrome accessories to the body and paint the whole unit at one time. And going on, you can see the step one is actually going to be the sub-assemblies. You can see part one is the engine, and that's the flathead, a 4-cylinder engine. And you can see the block going together, and it looks like the alternator, the fan belt, and the fan, or that could be going on to the water pump. You can see the oil pan coming up from the bottom, the transmission on the back, and you can see all the different parts that are going to go on. Part two would be the chassis and the wheels, and you can see it looks like the leaf springs going on with the axles. Moving on to part three, you can see we're going to do the interior of the Jeep, the dashboard, the seats, part 4, we're going to start to put the body onto the chassis. You can see we're going to put the clear part into the windshield, the steering column, the steering wheel, the front where that's going to house the headlights. So when you go to the completion assembly, you can see there's a lot that's in that step, and that's the final step for the, you can see the military part. You can see the guns that you can add in. You can see the different parts that are going to go on the back, like the spare tire, the fuel tank, and different things. The headlights are going to go into the left as the bumper. And when you look at the bottom, you can see the civilian custom-only instructions, where you get to the Jeep and then you add all the custom parts, and you can make it into the different version. And you can see it's got the canopy and it's got all the different decals. And it's interesting with the decal sheet and the different molding. Depending on where you get this, you can either get this in the green plastic, the dark olive green with the chrome parts and the black tires, and depending, some kits you get that it's actually in white for the original release. So you could either get green or white, and the newer version that they released is actually gray. It's molded in gray. And speaking of that, they did come out with a new version of the kit in 2003. I'm talking about the Hogan's Heroes version, because they went on to do the World War II Jeep in different kits. But I'm only talking about the Hogan's Heroes Jeep model kit. So the first release is in 1968, and the second release is in 2003. And you can see it's in green plastic. The front of the box, you can see Hogan's Heroes World War II Jeep, and they don't have the picture of Sergeant Schultz, Colonel Hogan, or the Commandant Klink on the box. And by this time, it's AMT Ertl. You can still see from the hit TV show the most famous military vehicle of all time. And this would be kit number 31752, as you look at the ends of the box. And this is, like I said, a 2002 release. And it's got a skill level of 3. The other side of the box, the other end of the box, you can see customize it into the Surrey version, and you can see the finished model. And you use the original release, you used the box art as a guide for the decals, and you can see the decal sheet. You can see private property, Starlog 13, HQ12, hood, sides of hood. You can see where the placement of the decals are on there as well. You can see Cafe Roma, courtesy car. You can see the stars. Hogan's Heroes goes under the windshield. You can see the X's that go on a gas can. And you can see looks like the island with the island drinks. And that basically is this model kit from the hit TV show, the most famous of all military vehicles. There is probably no more renowned vehicle in the world, the ever-present, ever-going Jeep, great in itself. But this kit's got even more going for it. It's the Jeep from the hot TV series Hogan's Heroes, and the madcap crew on the TV show will be featuring big and in full color package, and the Jeep will be featured big on the TV show. The famous Jeep, the famous TV series, together they can make for a great selling kit. 1/25 scale, 4 ways to build Hogan's Hero Jeep, the armed World War II Jeep, the stock Jeep, and the Surrey-topped Jeep. 30 caliber machine guns, submachine gun, and carbine armament, 4-cylinder flathead engine, custom wheel covers, custom mirrors, spare tire mounted at the rear with a trailer hitch and a Surrey top. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed this quick little video on another different kind of model kit. And if I can find any other interesting model kits from my childhood TV shows, I will definitely let you know. But this was a fun little kit, and I figured that this would be a fun little video for you guys. So my friends, until my next video, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.